morning, grade 8. How are you today? I hope you're doing well. Before we start our discussion for this morning, may I call on Micah to please lead the prayer? Amen. Hello. I am teacher Shaira Pitakbobo, one of the interns of the University of Mindanao, taking up Bachelor of Secondary Education major in English, and I will be your teacher for this morning. Okay, so before we proceed to our main discussion this morning, I want to impose first my online classroom rules. You only need to remember the LOVE. L stands for listen carefully, O is to observe diligently, V is to visualize your ideas, and E is to enjoy the discussion. By the way, class, for your attendance, just type in your full name in the chat box, and if you can turn on your cam, it will be highly appreciated. Let's have a review. Last meeting, Teacher Jam discussed about extemporaneous and demonstrative speech. Again, what is extemporaneous speech? Yes, Michael, you raised your hand. Very good. Extemporaneous speech, it is a type of speech that is well prepared, that relies on research, has clear organization, and practice delivery, but it is neither read nor memorized. However, demonstrative speech is one in which you will demonstrate to your audience in order to clear or to do something. Okay, so let's have activity number 1. For this activity, you are tasked to arrange the jumbled letters in order to form the expected words. Okay, so these are only 5 items, and each item I will be giving you like 5 seconds in each item. So class, you can utilize the chat box for your answers, and I highly appreciate that if mag-participate tanan, no, kay your participation will be graded. Number 1. What do you think is the answer for this item? Okay, class, you can utilize the chat box for your answers. I'm checking your answers. Nanay nakatama. Yeah, so dali ra jud kayo siya, no? I believe that you're familiar with this term. Okay, so let's have the answer for number 1. Kinsa kay nakatama? Very good. The answer for this item is source. Okay, so tama ang tanan. Wala may nakamali so far. So let's move to number 2. Okay, so what do you think is the answer for number 2? So connected yapon ni siya sa number 1 class. Okay, nanak ko'y nakitaan nga mga tamang answers. Okay, so padayon lang yapon mapag-sense yung mga answers, class. Okay, thank you for that. Nani nakatama. And let's see what is the answer for number 2. Okay, very good. To those who answered primary source, tama mo. Let's give yourself a round of applause. Okay, let's move to number 3. Okay, what do you think is the answer for this item? Okay, so 5 seconds is done. Okay, let's see what is the answer. Okay, very good. The correct answer is secondary source. For number 4. Okay, so sayo na kayo ni siya, class. Okay, so nanak ko'y nakitaan nga mga tama nga answer. Let's move to the answer. Okay, very good. To those who answered outline, tama ka. And the last item. Okay. So what do you think is the answer for this item? Okay, very good. To those who answered expanding, then your answer is correct. Okay, class, let's give yourself a round of applause. Gabi ka participative sa mga grade 8. Oy, very good. Okay, class. So before we proceed to our main discussion, I have some questions here. Based on our activity for this morning, what have you noticed with the words generated during the activity? Okay, you can utilize the chat box for your answers. What do you think? Okay, the second question is, what were the words all about? What do you think kaya? Okay, so I can see the answers of Michael, Mark, Micah. Okay, very good class. Kaya nag-participate ang tanan. Next question is, what insights have you gained during the activity? And how do these words relate with each other? Unsa kaya? What do you think? Okay, so let's proceed to our main question. Right now, isip tayo class. Do you have any idea what will be our topic for this morning? Unsa kay topic nato karong morning? Okay, so na pinakita nga mga correct answers, ang mga term niya. Okay? Our topic for this morning class is all about expanding the content of an outline. Okay, so class, kinsa pa'y naka-remember what is an outline? Do you still remember the definition of an outline? Okay, so I can see Mark raising his hand. Okay, very good. That's correct. Okay. At the end of the lesson, the students will be able to, first, identify the parts of an outline. Second, differentiate primary from secondary source. And expand the content of an outline using notes from primary and secondary sources. So what is an outline? Okay, so who wants to read the definition of an outline? Okay, yes, Micah, you raise your hand. Okay, thank you for that, Micah. Outline is a tool used to organize written ideas about a topic into a logical order. It is also considered as a blueprint or plan for your paper. Okay, class? You need to remember that when we talk about outline, it talks about organization of your ideas. Okay, organization of your written ideas. It is also a blueprint, right? And most outline class use bullet points or numbers to arrange the information and convey points. It will serve as a skeletal framework of your paper. Okay, so if you're planning to write something, you need to consider the most important things first. Okay, class, kinsa may diri nag-practice of outline muna bago mag-finalize yung paper. Okay, so you can raise your hand if you are practicing an outline na. Okay, you need to remember that class that outlining is very important. Later on, makabalutaw why we need to create an outline. Okay, so next slide. So these are the basic outline of a paper. Do you still remember, class, what are the three parts of an essay? Diba, it has introduction. Unsay sunod sa introduction, class? Okay, very good. The body. And the last one. Okay, the conclusion. Okay, very good, class, that you can still remember that basic outline of a paper. Okay? The first one, we will be going to discuss the introduction. Okay, so Mark, can you please read the definition of introduction? Okay, thank you for that. Introduction. Start with an attention grabber context that introduces the paper topic. Or in short, there will be, or this will be the phrases that will attract your reader. Okay, so lahi ra jud kaayo kung nagagamit ka og mga attention grabber nga mga context. Kay since if nakabantay mo, class, if you as a reader mas bet jud nimo if magbasa ka tapos sa introduction pa lang ay murag catch lagi ni siya attention nako, di ba? In ana na siya class. The second one is define any key terminology needed to understand the topic. Okay, class? So, of course, you need to include the meaning of or the important words of your topic. Okay? So, since dili man tanang reader na ay same level of understanding and vocabulary, so you need to um, add the key terminology. And the last one is must end with a thesis statement in 1 to 2 sentences in length. For number 2, the body. Maria, can you please read the definition of body? Okay, thank you for that, Maria. Body. You need to give strong examples, details, and explanations to support each main point when you're writing your paper. So, importante jud kay siya, class. Also, you need to use strong evidence from sources, paraphrases, summarize, and quotations that support the main points. Okay, class, you need to remember that whenever you present your stance, it will be more credible if you give strong examples, details, and explanations nga mo support sa each main point sa imuhang paper. Okay, so the third one is conclusion. Ezekiel, you raise your hand. Okay, thank you for that, Ezekiel. Conclusion. You need to briefly summarize each main point found in the body of the paper. Okay? Please avoid going over 2 sentences for each point. So, you need to remember, class, nga dapat dili mag-over og 2 sentences for each point. Also, you need to end with a strong clincher statement and appropriate, meaningful final sentence that ties the whole point of the paper together. Okay, class. So, am I clear, class? Or medyo pas-pas ra ko? Okay, so now ba take question in terms of body sa conclusion and sa introduction? Okay, so none so far. Okay, let's proceed to the next slide. Okay, class, so this is an example of an outline template and a sample of complete outline. Okay, so class, kindly observe the arrows to its corresponding parts. Okay, so let's have first the outline template, kaning blank na area. Makita nimo na yellow na arrow. So the title is How Losing a Swim Meet Made Me a Better Swimmer. Okay, so under the title, dira na imong introduction. Okay? Under introduction, dapat taga-contain siya og thesis statement. Okay, clear ba siya, class? Okay. Under introduction, dira na ka mag-start sa imong first paragraph main point, the topic sentence of that paragraph. Under it, dapat na kay 2 supporting details na mag-support sa imong each main point. Okay? Pwede ka magbutan dire og in-text citation from primary or secondary sources. So, later on, we will discuss what is primary or secondary sources. Okay. So, in your second paragraph main point, or again, your topic sentence, same lang jud gihapon, dapat na kay duha ka supporting details and an in-text citation from primary to secondary sources. Okay, so the last part is the conclusion. It is the summary of your main point and the sentence to state a judgment on your topic, make prediction, or call the reader for action. Okay, so clear ba siya, class? Since dili makay-klaro ang picture, class, later on, I will give you a clearer picture sa example, tapos we will dig into details pa dyan. Okay. Class, this is the reason why we need to create an outline. Okay, so first, it aids in the process of writing. Second, it helps you organize your ideas. Third, it presents your material in a logical form. Fourth, it shows the relationships among ideas in your writing. Fifth, it constructs an ordered overview of your writing. And the last one, it defines boundaries and groups. Class, so the purpose of making an outline is to plan and consider every single details to create a good outcome. It will also lessen the time frame while writing your paper since you already have an outline that needs to be followed. So kung gadali mo class, mas better dito siya if na kay outline. King kahit kung naa kay idungag or na kay tanggalon. So tanggalon na nimo siya sa outline nimo. Di ba dali na lang dili kay nagkagubot pa imong paper. Hala asi una diri asa ni dapat introduction, asa body, asa conclusion. So dili na ka malibog class since naa man kay outline nga gina-follow. Okay, clear ba ko class? Okay, so thank you for that. Let's move to another slide. Now, the question is, how can we expand our outline using different sources? Now, let's define first what is the definition of source. Okay, Maika, can you please read the definition of source? Okay, thank you for that, Maika. Source is the text or the other word that provides the information that is being used. There are two types of sources class. The first one is the primary source and the second one is the secondary source. Okay, so let's discuss first what is a primary source. Primary source is usually a document or result that is being reported first hand. Okay, class, unsa ganito ba sa primary source? First hand siya. In other words, primary sources are original sources, not interpretation made by someone else. Okay, class, so makadungog ta og primary source, unsa dapat atong i-remember? It is first hand, and the second one is, it is from original sources. Okay, so primary source is also anything that gives you direct evidence about the people, events, or phenomena that you are researching. It will usually be the main object of your analysis. So, if balak ka mag-research about the past, you cannot directly access it yourself. So, dili man ka pwede mo balik sa past, no? Or, wala pa man po kagipanganak ato nga mga panahon. So, you need this primary source that were produced by the participants or witnesses nga na ato nga mga time. Okay, so class, these are some examples of primary sources. First is the interview. Second, the diaries. Third is the newspaper. Okay, class, now, I will give you 5 seconds to think or to research what is another examples of a primary source. Okay, so, except sa naa na sa screen ha, din dapat na siya i-answer. And you can utilize the chat box for your answers. Okay, so I am reading your answers, class. Okay, letters, correct. Okay, manuscripts. Journals. Okay, correct. That's right. Oral histories. Speeches. Ano ko mga birth? Uy, ano dyan, class? Mag-participate dyan. Government documents. Photographs. Maps. Hala, paspasan mga answer eh. Audio recordings. Research data, objects or artifacts. Okay, so very good class kaya nag-participate yun ang tanan, no? The second type of sources class is secondary source. Okay, Mark, I want you to read the definition of secondary source. Okay, very good. Secondary source, it describes, interprets, evaluates, or analyze information from primary sources. Okay, so pag makadungog tag secondary source, unsa ganito class? It describes, interprets, unsa pa? Evaluates, or analyzes. Okay, so sige daw, kung naka-remember pa, unsa gitong primary source? Unsa tong gipang-highlightan ako dito Okay, first hand, unsa pa to? Okay, from original sources. Okay, very good. Okay, so ang primary source, first hand, o ano pa? From primary sources. Ang secondary sources, kaya it describes, interprets, evaluates, or analyze. So, gipang-read yun ako siya class, no? Kay para mas ma-remember ninyo kung unsa ang kalahian between primary and secondary sources. Class, you need to remember that when you cite a secondary source, it's usually not to analyze it directly. Instead, you'll probably test the arguments against evidence or if its idea helps you formulate your own. These are an examples of secondary sources. The first one is the textbooks. Okay? So the second one is biographies. The third one is commentaries. Okay, class? So, usab na pud ta, maghatag na pud mo og another examples of secondary sources nga wala sa screen ha. Okay, I will give you 5 seconds to do that. Okay, so I can see answers na. Encyclopedias, okay, that's correct. Histories, tama-tama. Reviews, okay, textbooks, sige na, sa screen. Okay, tama, yapon na siya. Magazine articles. Okay, correct. Okay, very good class that you are participating. So a while ago, class, I have shown you an example of an outline template and a complete outline template. So this is how it looks like if we remove the labels. Okay, so I have used color coding so that mas ma-remember yun ninyo ang mga parts sa outline. Okay, so let's start with the title. Kaning red part, how losing a swim meet made me a better swimmer. Remember class, ang kaning red part, mao ni siya ang title. Okay, very good. Ang introduction class kay kaning black nga part. Okay. So, ang thesis statement diri class kay kaning, the first time I participated in a competitive swim meet, I finished in last place. With more focused training and coaching, I was able to finish second in a division championship meet. Okay, so mao ni siya ang thesis statement nimo class. Okay? So, di ba sa introduction na ay thesis statement, so dapat na-upload kay supporting details. So, supporting details diri class kanang naka-underline kaning I was very disappointed in my results from the first meet. So I improved my training and fitness. This helped me swim better and faster, which helped me to greatly improve my results. So humana ta sa introduction class ha. So dirian na ta sa my first paragraph kaning purple. Okay? So ang topic sentence diri class kay kani I was embarrassed at finishing last in my first competitive swim meet. So, I began working on ways to improve my performance. Okay? So, mao nang topic sentence ani nga paragraph. Okay? So, 'di ba sa kada paragraph dapat na ay duha ka supporting details. So, ang first supporting details ani class kay kaning I spent extra time with my coach and the team captains learning how to improve my technique. Mao na ang first supporting detail. Ang ikaduha class kay kaning I started running and lifting weights to increase my overall fitness levels. Okay. Okay, so the second paragraph class, okay? So, ang topic sentence nato diri class kay kanang blue part kay over time, my results began to improve and I was able to qualify for the division championship meet. Okay, so diri class natay tulo ka supporting details. First one is my technique and fitness level made me faster and able to swim longer distances. Okay, so ikaduha nga supporting detail kay I steadily got better and I began winning or placing in the top 3 at most of my meets. Okay, and the third supporting details class kay my results improved to the point that I was able to qualify for the division championships meet. Okay, so sa third paragraph na ta class, ang kanin sa may pink part, ang topic sentence diri class kay with my new confidence, techniques, and fitness level, I was able to finish second at the division championship meet. Diri class natay duha ka supporting details. First is, I was able to swim well against a higher level of competition due to my training and technique. Ang ikaduha class kay, I was no longer embarrassed about my last place finish and was able to use it as my motivation. And the last class is your concluding sentence. Kaning sa may conclusion. Kaning sa may brown part. I used my last place finish in my first competitive swim meet as motivation to improve my performance, and that is something I love. I will keep on swimming and I will never give up. Now, let us identify about what are the types of sources that is being used in this paragraph. Okay? So, let's start with the purple part class. Kaning, according to FELS 2012. Okay, makita ninyo siya class kaning sa may ikaduha nga sentence. Okay, so this is a primary source. Why? Is it because it is being extracted from Michael Fell's interview? Okay, so remember ninyo class, ang interview is part of primary source. While in the second source class, kaning Curry, KD, et al. 2018, it is being extracted from an academic journal. Okay, so kama ko pansiran class. If given ba siya sa academic journal, what do you think? Unsa man siya? Secondary or primary? Okay, very good. It is from secondary source. Kaya academic journal, secondary source siya. The third in-text class is Wilkinson 2015. Okay, so this is extracted from an interview. Unsa ganito class from an interview? Unsa siya? Primary siya or secondary? Okay, very good. If gikan sa interview, unsa siya? Primary. Okay, very good. So, the last in-text citation is Bandura 1986. It is extracted from an academic journal. If academic journal, balik-balik na siya, unsa gani siya? Secondary sources. So, I hope no nga, klaro ang tanan? Okay, so naba may wala na sub-10 class? Okay, so gets lang? Okay, good. Class, are there any questions, clarifications, or violent reactions? If there's none, let's proceed to activity number 2. So, these are the instruction. The following are documents that can be used as sources. You need to categorize these sources as primary or secondary sources using the organizer below. So, karon class, kay I want you to get a clean sheet of paper. So, pwede siya bond paper, pwede siya notebook, pwede siya intermediate or yellow pad. Okay lang siya, whatever. Tapos, sundugan ninyo ni siyang kaning table nga nasa ubos. Then, I will give you, dali naman ni siya mga 3 to 5 minutes. And after that, i-ratio na to. Then, i-keep ninyo na siya class ha, kaya you need to send that later to my email para ma-check na ko. Okay? So, mag-self-checking ta class. Tapos, please do not erase your answers. Okay? So, nakakita si Lord. So, dapat be honest ta. Okay? So, I will give you 3 to 5 minutes. Okay, I believe human na ang tanan. Okay, so archives and manuscripts. Asa man siya class? Okay, very good. It is primary, books, secondary, encyclopedias, secondary, periodicals, secondary, magazine, secondary gyapon. Maps is primary. Textbooks, secondary. Data, secondary. Ang data day class, pwede siya secondary, pwede po siya primary. Pamphlet, primary. Commentaries, secondary. News is secondary. Book reviews, secondary. Personal accounts, of course, it is primary. And film is primary. Okay, so kinsa may naka-perfect. Okay, so pwede ninyo class i-send sa chat box if pila inyong score. Okay, so now let's proceed to our asynchronous task. Okay, so for asynchronous task, this is the instruction. Okay, so paki-screenshot na lang ko class or paki-picture. And then, ipasa ninyo niya siya class sa ako ang email. Okay? So, ang email is naa sa first slide na ko is stakbobo.477132@umindanao.edu.ph. The font is Arial. The font size is 12 and you need to justify it. Okay, class? Class, are there any questions, clarifications, or violent reactions? If there's none, Thank you, grade 8, for participating in today's discussion. I hope that you really learned something. Again, my name is Teacher Shaira Pitakbobo. Thank you and God bless.